and you gonna murder this one and murder that one. Talking all that bullshit. I'm gonna put it to you like this, yo.
This is for the nerds, this is for the brainiacs, this what we deserve. Go ahead and play it back, you ain't gonna touch me, you not gonna do nothing, you are not above me, I bet you wish you was me, I know it, I know.
Seniors event today.
What is poppin', everybody? And welcome back to another special episode of the Only Friends podcast. Well, you know, it's me and my only friends, which includes, but is not limited to, the one I'm gonna slap the shit out of. Hey, sidekick, how you feeling today?
You getting a little stronger to go jerk off or something?
Hey, sidekick!
Don't worry about me, man.
You know what's coming? Efro texted me this morning. He's like, hey, man, Berkey won't need those things anymore, so you can just grab them.
Don't worry about me. I've lost all hope. I want to be slapped.
Steeler Nation with an I, by the way. It's not even real Steeler Nation.
I don't care.
Aw, it's okay, Berk. Don't lose all that excitement you had last week.
They killed Kenny.
Mm-hmm. Burn it down.
You bastards.
It was fucking, there was a lot of injuries yesterday. Minka broke his hand. TJ hurt something undisclosed.
Yeah, but he was right back. He was right back in the game.
Robert School.
Yeah, and then he was right back out.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Fucking crawled to the sideline.
Oh, I didn't see that part.
Wait a minute.
They've lost 5 inside linebackers this season.
Ooh,
Aren't there
baby,
like
talk dirty
reports
to me.
that are allowed that you can't like undisclose an injury? You have
This
to,
is
like,
different.
disclose?
This is mid-game.
During the game.
No, during the game.
Yeah, that's like pre-game, like up the week going up to it. By
So-
Thursday, they have to have like a correct report.
So,
So
the
you-
gamblers can have an accurate spread.
So your entire defense and your entire team is falling apart.
It's not looking great. I don't know that Mitch can win a game in the NFL, to be quite honest. We're gonna find out because they play the down bad Patriots.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, quite honestly, we have a very good sweat, but
No, this is really bad.
That Patriots game, the Steelers-Patriots game, is going to end
0-0.
3-0. I just
who
don't
wins.
know which one is going to get the 3.
What's
Yeah,
the
this-
new
And I hope
odds,
it's
though?
us.
I think it is you because
I mean-
they played against the Chargers this weekend and they couldn't
Yeah.
put up a goddamn first down.
No, this is really bad. There's only
No, this is really bad.
there's only 5 weeks left. Even if Kenny comes back in 2, if Mitch can, the thing is like that Colts game was circled as, one of the ones on the road that the Steelers were going to be competitive. They're not going to be competitive with Trubisky.
No, for sure.
It's not good.
Yeah.
And if he misses 4 weeks, what's he going to come back and beat Baltimore? Like
Maybe,
but who cares? That might just be for their 8th win at that point. Like they might go 0-4.
all I
in the
need to
meantime.
know is-
wait, they play
Seattle
New
on the
England?
road, Indy on the road, New England at home, Cincy at home, Baltimore on the road.
I mean, they could.
Who is Mitch Trubisky beating?
New
Patriots.
England. New England.
They could definitely beat the Patriots.
And Cincy.
He's not beating Cincy.
I don't know.
He's not beating Cincy.
You see Cincy? They're not.
Did you see Trubisky?
Trubisky barely got out.
He's so bad.
He's a turnover machine.
He's
Wait.
so bad.
Pickett barely won against Cincy. They won 16-10 2 weeks ago, right?
that game was so much more of a blowout than the score indicated.
Yeah.
God.
No, it really was. The Steelers dominated in all facets of the game. The ball bounced their Cincy's way every time.
The
like
Deontay touchdown was never reviewed.
Right.
Like it easily could have been 23-10. Nobody would
Yeah.
have batted an eye at it. They would have said it was a dominating win.
right.
It was like the time of possession was almost 3-1 Pittsburgh.
But I agree with you, Burke. It seems I'm trying to imagine a world where Mr. Trubisky can win a football game, and I don't see it.
I've accepted. He's.
I'll be listening to buyouts. Let me know if you got something for me.
I want slap.
I
want slap.
If that's the case, let me get to work over here.
I want slapped.
Oh,
I want to burn it all to the ground.
I know. But guys,
I've never been.
More importantly,
Keep going, tortoise in the main. It's
The tortoise in the main. Hey.
Go insane.
What?
The tortoise bring the pain.
He may be
The
selling.
tortoise in the main. It's the tortoise in the main. Make him go insane. The tortoise bringing the pain.
we're about to bring the pain.
That is so much
We're
longer
playing
than it
them-
needs to be.
I wish it was 2.
I don't think it's long
I
enough.
wish it was 2 minutes longer.
That was so good.
Yep. We're in it, baby. WPT Championship, $40 million. Can't wait. Selling some action. So whoever wants some,
This is a
hit me up.
public cry for help.
No, it's not a public cry. This is. I'm excited. Getting back in there. In the mix.
My man's in the mix.
Hell yeah.
The tortoise in the motherfucking main.
Let's go. Playing the Prime this weekend, too. Can't wait for
Where
that.
can they reach you if they would like to buy a piece?
Twitter, DMs.
BR like 7.
Why didn't you just oh, never mind. I know the answer to this. I was gonna say, why didn't you just like use Josh Aria's platform or whatever?
I guess I could have, but I didn't.
Yeah, he might appreciate that.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, if you want to slide into old Tortoise's DMs, he'll give you a little. How many bullets are you playing?
Just one.
You're selling for one bullet?
One. We're playing the final day.
You'll get responded with snail mail.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's right. Checks in the mail, kids. Don't worry. Yeah, all right. How much do you got up for grabs? I want to reserve 10.
You got 10.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there you go, guys. 10%.
Hey guys,
gone.
speaking of injuries, did you guys happen to see that sideline?
Oh my God, this
No.
poor man.
Don't do
I
it.
felt so bad for him.
This poor fucking man. Let it run.
No. Don't play the
Do it.
video.
Let it run.
Hey, it's
Oh
so
no!
nice.
Go! I won't watch.
I didn't see it.
I don't
Oh
want
my
to see it.
God,
I
it's
didn't
so
see it either. I
bad.
don't want to
Oh,
see
no.
it.
Oh, that's
boy.
bad. Oh, that's so bad.
Fucking guy who just gets his leg
Can
obliterated.
we watch him get hit? Do we have that?
Let's see here.
We can watch someone else get hit in a couple weeks.
It is so bad.
Oh,
You just feel for the man, bro.
But the leg's not supposed to bend that
Well,
way.
you just ran into him?
oh.
Oh, Berkey's literally holding his hand
I
up
won't
so he
watch it.
can't see it out of his peripheral.
There was a guy in like 2009 who just like destroyed his leg in the NCAA tournament. I somehow missed it
Oh
in
my
real
God,
time.
Kevin Ware.
I remember
Yeah,
this.
I somehow missed it in real time, and I to this day have never seen the replay.
I think it was Kevin Ware. It was one
Kevin
of the
Ware.
most fucking. It was on the Louisville Cardinals. It
Yeah.
was one of the most disgusting injuries I've ever seen in my life.
That is
I
correct.
cringed when I saw it, and I still to this day just have that like the
I
feeling.
don't know, man. The Anderson Silva kick was pretty bad, too.
Oh yeah, that one
is
I actually
bad,
had the
yeah.
displeasure of seeing. It was fucking
Displeasure.
disgusting. Who the fuck is covering this WPT event? Is it?
WPT is right now.
No, I looked at WPT.com. I got nothing. I'm looking on Poker News. I got nothing. How many people did they get for this stupid $600 that like blew the prize pool out of the water?
Poker News is there.
3,000.
3,000.
3,600. So it was a lot.
Prize pool ended up being
It was 360 at
First
first.
was 366, yeah. Patrick got 50th.
so somewhere in the neighborhood of like 2.5 million in the prize pool.
Yeah.
There was a 1 million guarantee.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was like
Jeez.
2.3 or something like that.
So they 2.5x'd their opening event.
What do you think?
Prize
What do you
pool-wise.
think the
The meter-
Prime is going to get? The Prime is a $5 million.
It's massive. It was massive last year. Remember
I guess
Hunt
they
final
need.
tabled it?
They need. What's that?
Holy
Hunt
shit.
final tabled
Hunt
it.
did
You
I
gotta
final
say
forgot
table.
about
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
Stefan Song won it for $700K.
Yeah,
Mhm.
fucking Landon had a piece, of course.
You make me sick.
I love the Prime, baby.
Of course he did.
Of course he did.
Yep, that's going to be a great
Landon
event.
didn't even fucking play the prime. He just had a piece somehow.
No, I played. I tried. I tried
So
my-
they need, I guess, 5,000 entries for that.
Yeah, but
to get the
I
guarantee.
think that
And
has the capability of doubling.
Man, it's so crazy.
Yeah.
A couple
It's-
months ago, we were thinking,
Wow.
we were sitting here, we're talking about it. We're like, damn, WSOP is running in Bahamas, EPT is running in Prague. Fucking,
Pat said Prague is set to hit record numbers.
it's absurd.
It's everywhere.
Well,
Poker is everywhere.
It is.
maybe. So WSOP kicked off this week. Also, they had their
Now
they
the
had their
bad news.
mystery bounty event, 1650, 5 million guarantee. This is the one that 7 stars were getting free rolled into, and they put a big 5 million is a big guarantee for
That's
a 1650.
huge, man.
That's lofty.
What's that, 2,500 people?
No, 3,334 entries.
Oh, okay.
To meet the guarantee. Flight A had 387.
Oh, yeah.
Flight B had 173.
Well, online too.
Online had, and now you see the importance of it, 1,516. So
Oh.
basically, they covered half the prize pool through the online entries. However, there are 3 flights left to go, and they need to come up with another, I don't know, 1,800.
There's only one online flight?
The online's done.
Yeah.
Oh, online's done. Gotcha.
They did multiple flights, I think,
It's
previous.
1,500 total through all
Wait a
those
minute.
Yeah.
So this wording from Brian is kind of not correct, right?
You got to scroll to the next tweet. Kev Math tweet or fixed it.
Kevin, as he
There you
does, as one
Oh,
does.
No, you went too far. As an update per this information given by Kev Math, there were 1,189 entrants in online day ones, which brings the total to 1,516 entrants for the final, going into the final 3 flights. So they basically need to average 500 per flight. It's doable.
Yeah.
It's doable, but like it's not.
The last
super
flight's always usually pretty big.
I mean, everybody should be getting into the Bahamas right now, like literally today, like at the bare latest. So
Yeah.
I would
Aspen just left
say
to
they
go to
have,
the Bahamas.
Yeah, I would say they have a slight chance for it, but at the same time, this is danger.
I mean, the guarantees are big. 5 million guarantees big.
They also have another 1,500 that's not a mystery bounty that's running right after this with also a $5 million guarantee, with first being guaranteed $1 million.
As a well, I mean, I guess they've never guaranteed a bracelet event before, but
No.
would this be the first time a bracelet event overlaid? Well, they
Well,
guaranteed
no,
them
they've
online,
guaranteed
right?
$100 million.
They've
They guaranteed $100 million in the main event.
Yeah,
right?
they nailed. No. They guaranteed 10 million to first.
Yeah, they
And, like,
guaranteed bracelet events before.
just online, right?
No, they I think the smaller ones, like the 300.
It's never the prize pool though, right? It's always
Yeah, no, the prize-
They guaranteed the 88888 that David Moses won.
They
but
always
they
guaranteed
just
that.
guaranteed first place.
No,
Yeah.
what was it called? It's called something with a G. This
Gladiator?
year, it was like maybe Gladiator.
Gladiators
It was
of poker.
$3 million guarantee, $300 buy-in, $3
Oh,
million
right.
guarantee.
I think that was the first time they did that live though,
They just do it for the small ones just to make sure
and
everybody
they
gets out.
they nailed it, or
Yeah.
they crushed it actually.
I think so. Yeah, they
Right?
crushed it. Yeah.
But they've guaranteed them online before. I'm sure GG has had guaranteed bracelet events
Yeah.
before.
Yeah, they do.
So this could be the first of its kind. Possible overlay alert. Daniel put out a vlog. He said, get down to the Bahamas. I can almost guarantee you these events are going to overlay.
Wow.
Which is, pretty strong sentiment.
All right, I am here in Bahamas. There's Mr. Jack Effel. Here we go. We got the tournament. Here's the deal. There's a $5 million guarantee on the Mystery Millions. These people are insane. They always make crazy guarantees. I will bet my ass there's going to be overlays here. So get your butt to Bahamas if you can. If you're on the East Coast, get on a plane because this thing's going to have so much added value, as are most of my things. So, yeah, get yourself to Bahamas, right, Jack?
Get here. Get here.
It's really funny. If you have the choice, like, I guess maybe this is geared mostly towards Tortoise since he plays a little bit more recreationally. If you had the choice between going to play a slightly tougher field where you are almost certain to be getting an added, call it 10 or 15% ROI based off the fact that there's going to be overlay, or you get to go play monstrous fields that are crushing the guarantees and are a bit softer, but no overlay.
Yeah, I would choose the latter. I think, especially. I mean, maybe this doesn't matter, or this is not what you're saying, but living here in Vegas, not having to travel.
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously
that's a huge.
Those considerations
I guess,
aside.
yeah. Putting that aside, I think I like the bigger fields, the bigger prize pools. It's a $600 tournament, and it's 360 to first. That's amazing, right? That's what I'm here for.
I tend to lean the more convenient route here. Yeah, this is like in our backyard.
Well,
I understand.
that's not the question.
I understand if you don't live here.
No one from Vegas is going to the Bahamas
Right.
unless they're a high roller.
Right.
Yes, that's true.
But I think that if I were an ABI 1650 kind of guy, I would be in the Bahamas right now. For sure, 100%.
Oh man,
No.
100%. What do you mean you're getting a free 10 or 15% ROI?
You don't know
but
that. You don't know that.
But
It's almost a certainty.
Yeah, it is.
You also get a free room.
You're saying you think it's
no, not everybody gets a free
15%
room.
overlay?
Nobody gets a free room. If these people that play 1650s, unless you have a 7-star, you're not getting a free room.
I know, but
unless you have action online.
Right. We're putting all the travel stuff aside and just focusing on the poker.
Sure.
So,
but
if you think of it that way, yeah, I don't know. I guess you have to hope there's a guarantee. It looks like, or hope there's going to be an overlay. Hope there's an overlay, which it looks like there might be, there will be, but we don't know for sure. And then you said it's a tougher field. I think it's close. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's also not cheap right now to travel here,
Right.
because of AWS. So it's not as if the cost or anything like that is so big, especially if I were on the East Coast. I think I would strongly be pulled to the Bahamas, but also just 10 to 50% ROI is really
a lot.
That's a lot. That's a lot, right?
Bahamas
most
flights.
people aren't beating 1650s for more than 30%.
Yeah.
Pete booked a flight last night to go to the Bahamas. $168 to get there.
Yeah,
It's
an annoying flight, man.
Where's
Yeah.
he flying from?
Here.
From here?
$168. He literally leaves in 12 hours.
Yeah, you have to lay over in either Miami or Atlanta
Or Charlotte. Yep.
or Charlotte. Yeah, that's probably the cheapest
Yeah. Charlotte.
leg.
Houston, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's I think both are really valuable for the grinders. But I think more particularly, like I would think the pros would be drawn more to the Bahamas and the Rex would be drawn a little bit more to Vegas, just because
that makes going to Vegas slightly better because it's softer field.
I don't think that's exactly what's happening, though.
It's super high variance, right? Like if you have the choice between playing a small field overlaid, let me put it this way. Let's say your ROI in 1650s is 30%. And you have the option to play a 1650 that's overlaid with a big guarantee and have 50% ROI, or you have the option to go play a 1650 in Vegas with 30% ROI, but it's like massive variance because it's a huge field.
Right.
There's obviously, big upside to both. When you win the huge field, it's more money.
Yeah.
But these guarantees are really big. So like, winning the mystery bounty with a 5 million. Also, is the 5 million guarantee including the bounties?
Yes.
Has to be.
It has to be.
Okay.
It's 2.5, 2.5.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, winning the mystery bounty, that's probably going to be just shy of $1 million for a 1650. That's pretty fucking big.
Yeah.
Like, I assume that's
that
probably
also,
be what the prime first place will be.
Doesn't that also factor into the variance of the tournament, having these mystery bounties plugged in?
Sure, but like that's just because it's a mystery bounty event. Like
that's what I'm saying,
right?
Yeah.
But there's also 1K that's a 5 million guarantee.
There is.
Yeah,
in
right
Bahamas?
after. Yeah, right after.
Okay. Yeah. So that would be like you'd be comparing that to maybe the prime.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like first place is going to be pretty comparable in both, but you might play half the field size in the Bahamas.
I will say one thing that WSOP did fucking awesome is they replicated the PokerStars live app.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen the app yet, but I
Dude,
saw that they were launching it down there. I wonder if that's going to be a thing moving forward in the summer.
I assume so. So if you were to put like 100,000, I think it was 120 or 130,000 on it, they gave you a free 12-day stay. If you put 30,000 on it, you got a free 1650 seat. So you can just like load up money and you don't have to bring any cash, which is pretty sick for Bahamas because we know the horror stories that come out of there and you don't want to bring any cash or whatever.
Right. Yeah, it was super easy with stars. I know when we went to PCA, it was just a matter of getting wire instructions.
Yeah, that was so easy. It was so smooth. Like we had no issues with cash in Bahamas.
Yeah, I think we gave this event a lot of guff because it was rivaling WPT, and WPT seems like such a no-brainer. But like honestly, this is probably pretty innovative for the industry as a whole. It's probably pretty good to have both an East and West Coast winter series of some sort. And the fact that like even though it takes a lot of effort, you can play both. I think that like the players ultimately win here, which should be the thing that we're highlighting the most.
Yeah.
There's going to be, problems with both events, and there's going to be upside to both events. And I think like outside of the outlandish cost of travel, there's a lot of appeal to playing WSOP in the Bahamas. Now, I also think that they like deserve some credit for all of the effort that they put in to mitigate those costs. Like there were a lot of ways that you could go for free. Whether it's, speed running the tier system and finding a way to becoming 7-star, or like Conrad said, utilizing the app. And I mean, granted, the irony is that people who are going to get the free shit
don't need it.
They don't need it.
Yeah, they're going to fucking pay for it anyway.
Oh, you just got 120K laying around that you can throw onto an app for a few days? All right, we'll give you a free stay.
It's pretty ironic, but at the same time, it's a great promotion to get some people down there.
Yeah, it's definitely a smart way of getting whales too, because nobody likes VIP treatment more than
that's true.
Whales. Trust me, I know.
You almost went because you heard you get a free 1650 seat for 30K, right?
I would have went. No. I had a free room and free buy-in that I didn't get until like maybe a week out. I just didn't have a passport. So I just,
Well, so you definitely would have went. They would have got you.
Yeah, that would have got me.
You could have done podcast Bahamas if you had a passport.
I mean, I would have went.
Well, like
I'm out.
I don't doing a quick.
You wouldn't have brought your only friends with you?
No.
Doing a quick head count here, and those rooms aren't
all
that
of a
big.
sudden it's not so cheap.
I got my own room, but I'd be at WPT. It's a beautiful place to be.
It is.
Have they moved into the ballroom yet?
yeah. I just saw a fun story. So they're playing the first event is the Mystery Bounty in the ballroom.
Okay, that makes sense. Because the 600 was in the front.
The 600 was in the front. That's why there was the wait lists were like 100 deep on the
that 600 was
cash games.
popping.
last year I busted I think I busted in the money in the prime or maybe like bubble-ish or whatever. And
You played a 1K last year?
yeah, I didn't have seats. We've come a long way in a year. I'm still playing live at the bike twice a week, flying to fucking LA to try to get action.
Moving up in the world.
Well, debatable.
It's all coming down.
I busted the prime or whatever, and I remember like it was so beautiful in the ballroom. Like the whole scene was great. We were set to do the pod from the main stage or whatever, and like everything, the buzz was just like insane. And I bust this, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna play the next thing. And I regged a 3K. I think it was a 3K 6 max, or maybe it was a 3K freeze out. I can't remember. But anyway, I reg it. I get my ticket, and it's in the poker room. And Wynn has a gorgeous poker room, but all of the air was sucked out of me when I shame walked over there and was playing in the fucking sports book amongst a bunch of other losers who didn't make it any further in the prime. I was just like, this is it, huh? This is the end? All right.
I'm going to register now.
Was that a progressive bounty, actually?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
They have a 5K progressive.
They had a 3K progressive bounty last year.
Yeah, I think that was what I was trying to play.
Okay.
And it was the following day. And then I was so tilted busting 2 bullets of whatever freeze out I played, I skipped the bounty.
Wow, you busted 2 bullets in a freeze out.
Damn, this guy.
You're impressive, man. That's some impressive shit, Berk.
I know some people, man.
Some real men to master type shit.
I know some people.
Real impressive over that.
I realize now too, it wasn't after the prime, it was after the main. I busted day 2 of the main, and I was like, scrounging around to play some action because they were starting to break the ballroom down.
Scrounging around.
Who will give me some action?
Who's gonna let me play?
Where's the post lim at? All right, we've been at it for what, year and a half now.
Yep.
Wow.
We've seen some shit here.
Yep.
We have.
There's a lot of stuff going on at all times.
600 concurrent watching. I wonder what they're here for.
Oh, I don't know. I wonder.
Maybe there's another cheating scandal coming
Here
on.
we go.
So, as of yesterday,
It never ends.
as of yesterday, we have our 25th cheating scandal. Don't
Bingo.
worry, it's only the 23rd that's around Hustler, so that's okay. No, this one's not Hustler's fault. This is just LA poker at its finest, as far as I'm concerned. Look, I've been playing high stakes cash for almost a decade now. The vast majority of it has been in private games. The pool is very small, very insulated, a lot of overlap. It's no shock that a guy like Airball comes onto the scene. He's perceived to be action or weak or a fish or whatever, and you just see him floating around a bunch of different groups. He's in all the games, yada, yada, yada. Well, one thing I've been fortunate enough to avoid throughout my 10 years is LA home games. And I say fortunate because I understand where these stories come from. Now, a lot of other people would say unfortunate because many, many millionaires have been made in these LA home games.
Blitz?
Blitz being one, Rick Solomon. But the thing is
they were already millionaires.
Yeah, but not like now.
Rick was, yeah.
Bro, they played like Andy Beal and Alec Gore's heads up for roles.
Giga millions.
That's so beautiful.
Like, these guys are fucking billionaires.
Where's
bro.
the live stream on that?
You don't get a live stream on that. They just get lines. That's it.
Is it my turn yet?
There was a story that Rick told on High Stakes Poker not that long ago. I saw it in one of their shorts where he was saying that he was playing this guy heads up. I don't know who it was, but obviously it was like somebody in that realm. They were playing huge. And he's like, I was winning a couple million, and this guy said, I just made a deal with the devil, and I sold my soul to him to come back and beat you in this heads up match.
Oh, yeah.
So he's like, we're doing coke, and like the coke runs out, and we have to go to another place, and we start playing there, and this fucking guy can't lose, and he's just winning and winning and winning. And then Rick says that he like gets it all in with ace 6 versus his ace king or something like that. And he hits a 6 on both boards for 666, and that's how the story ended.
Oh my god!
The devil came down to Georgia.
Yeah.
That's right, or Beverly Hills in this instance. I guess. All right, let me do the appropriate thing and get all of the information out that we know is public so far.
A good start
before getting into any opinions that we may have. So. The long and short of this is there's a character who played on HCL a handful of times, and I got to meet a dozen times in Vegas because he came in tow with Airball every time we played Heads Up. Not Ishan. Not the emotional support.
No secret
human.
meetings?
No secret meetings, just a lot of dinners, a lot of victory laps after the 100K losses, you know. But his name is Mars. That was all I knew him by, which was a little bit confusing because there's a director who plays high stakes poker also named Mars. He directed Pool Hall Junkies. And for a minute, I thought that was who was being confused by, because this guy just said he was a snowboard instructor. It's like, okay, buddy, like those guys don't make any fucking money. So Mars, he effectively was just like a random whale as far as I understood. Like, I thought that they all paled around together because he was just an integral part of getting games off the ground. Well, now the information is kind of coming out a little bit further that he was a game runner in a handful of spots. So this girl, what is her name? Rena, provided a lot of details last night, both on Spaces as well as on Twitter. She put a tweet up saying, like, you know, I called this out a year ago, but nobody would pay attention to me. And to be fair, like, she isn't like anyone notable in the public scene. I think she played on Hustler once or twice, but she seems to be very tied within the Chinese underground games in LA. And she said that Mars, whose real name is Tony, is known as Shanghainese Tony, and is a private game host in LA. She also goes on to basically say that, like, he owes her money, and he is a longtime grifter from China who's like not welcome in that community anymore. He's kind of been pushed out because he scammed so many people, et cetera, et cetera. She put this post out because apparently he had posted or blocked her on WeChat. She had no way to communicate with him any longer. And she told the story on Spaces last night of how the debt came to be. Effectively, she was playing in one of his games where he was one of the two hosts, but he wasn't there that night. She had won money. He told her to get it from the other host. The other host told her to get it from him. And when push came to shove, like, nobody paid, told her to go fuck herself, that type of deal. This stuff happens all the time, by the way. Like, literally all the time. Every home game you go to, there's a threat of not being paid. There's a threat of being cheated. There's a threat that, you know, the cops are going to come and get raided. There's a threat that somebody might get shot in the face at the front door, which we can talk about in a minute. So anyway, going a little bit further into detail, she basically said that he was a big part of all the Chinese underground games within LA, as well as, you know, prior games elsewhere throughout the world. He was alleged to have stolen over $3 million, and effectively he would offer, the way that he would get into these games is he would offer to recruit people for the games if they would cut him in on the rake. So they would basically make him a secondary host. He would bring a litany of people to the game, and then he would, you know, get to divvy up the rake benefits. And this is effectively how online clubs work as well. You know, you bring a bunch of people in, you get a big rake break, or you get a portion of their rake back, and, you know, the grift kind of continues. This isn't the shady part, though, because this is just the economics of high stakes underground games.
Yeah, any underground games.
Yes, correct.
To be fair.
So where the scandal comes in is he's being accused of, by being one of the hosts, he was in charge of, like, the chips, the cards, the dealers. He was basically a part of all of the mechanics of the game. And he's being accused of having manipulated the decks, bringing cards in that had some sort of, like, invisible ink on them that denoted what each card was, or I saw people saying that, like, they were see-through cards where if you're wearing certain contacts they become transparent. Go ahead.
All right, question.
Yeah.
If this is, I guess this is the issue between speculation and what is, right? Because if there is a device and things you can do improve these things, there's a lot more, like, credibility in some ways.
Yeah.
But just saying, oh, like, this was involved, or this was involved, or this was involved, it's not actually having any sort of hard proof is gonna...
No, this stuff exists.
Right.
Very easy to find. You can get it off, like, eBay.
Sure.
I think what it is like it's some sort of colored contact lens and whatever they use to make the back of the card under a certain light, that back just disappears, and then the card itself is revealed. So to the naked eye, it looks like
straight card.
It looks like a back of the card, but to the lens eye, it looks like the front of the card.
It looks like a 3.
Yeah. And again, like, this is nothing new. There was a game in LA. This must have been 5 years ago or so. It was a bunch of athletes, a bunch of just very wealthy whales, and a handful of pros would get the invite. The story as it goes is that, they're in a house, they're partying, there's party favors there, women, whatever, and the game's popping off, and the athletes and the whales are just like doing ridiculous shit, like jamming with a gut shot for infinite, drilling it, running it once, all this other stuff, right? Well, they have Bluetooth speakers pumping in music, whatever's going on, and allegedly what happened was they had one of those RFID, or not RFID, one of those LED decks. Not the right word.
No, it's not RFID.
Infrared
decks. Yes, thank you. They had one of the infrared decks in, and they had a device that was signaling to somebody else, and the person who is cheating the game or whatever was wearing some sort of like microscopic earbud, and it was being relayed to them. Well, apparently, I don't know how true this is. I wasn't there, but it was corroborated by a handful of people that do play these games, so I guess it was probably true. Apparently, at one point, the music broke in the overhead loudspeaker, and you could just hear Jack 10 of clubs, Jack 10 of clubs,
my
C1, Jack 10 of clubs.
Oh my God.
And so, they found out the game was crooked. But this stuff always gets handled internally. I think the only reason this becomes a huge story today is because it's publicly being outed. There's this certain attention-grabbing headline of, whale is cheated out of $1 million. And it's like, okay, yeah, we're listening. What next? Man, I forgot that these died last episode, and I forgot to charge them. Now they're dying again. Thank you, Guapo. So getting the last bit of the details out, effectively both Wesley and Airball now have accused Mars of having cheated them out of 7 figures. Essentially, they're all accusing him of the same thing that was being corroborated by this poker player, Rena. I don't know how true it is. It's alleged that Mars was put in a basement in New York for many months and held there captive.
I can see that happening.
I mean, the stories get wild. Like, now we can get into the fun conspiracy part of it, right? Like,
stories are never ending.
Was he a prisoner of war in a downtown basement in Manhattan? I don't know.
Absolutely. If he got caught cheating in Chinatown, let me tell you one thing: in a nice big game, his ass was sitting in the basement.
Yeah, possibly. The rumors are that his girlfriend at the time, Sia Bot from the Hustler game, was in on the cheating. She was a dealer in these games, apparently. Now, I don't know if she was a dealer first, that's where they met and linked up, or if he brought her in as a mechanic. But, there was a relationship there. She's since told Wesley that they've broken up.
Well, if these people are doing, like, not great things, why would they want to be on a live stream?
Because
to recruit.
Yeah, and also
it gives you more legitimacy than I think you think.
And also, people don't know, like, to the naked eye, you're a normal person. Like, you didn't cheat all these games. People aren't going to come out.
To Landon's point, though, it is dumb in a sense that you have to, when you go public, like when you go on a public sphere like Hustler Live and there are thousands of people watching, you have to provide some answers to the audience. You don't just get to go on there and say, like, yeah, I'm a snowboard instructor.
Shit. What are you talking about? Go look at the last fucking lineup.
Yeah,
you have a whole bunch of people that
I know that that's what they do.
Yeah.
But then whenever you're running your grift, people start to look into it.
Oh,
yeah.
Of course,
you become suspicious as fuck.
Yeah. Damn, how this snowboard instructor playing 500 1K?
Right.
How do you meet all these people?
Right.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. He touched Shaun White.
Yes, of course. So now
I'm talking Mountain Dew, baby.
great drop in.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Now obviously the reemergence of the Hustler conspiracies are coming back. We saw Progress tweeting his face off last night. I told you guys all along, Mars has been working with Vertucci.
Hey man,
I'm
with the progress on this. It's not out of the fucking realm, man.
Nothing is out of the realm.
No, it is not.
Apparently, according to Reddit, Mars was a 500K loser on Hustler and then very quickly became a 500K winner on Hustler. So, look, like, the thing is, there's some truth out there.
Yeah.
In the weeds of all this, right? Like, there's some truth out. If he was able to, get invisible ink and use colored lenses in some capacity to read the cards, yada yada yada, it's not inconceivable that he ran that grift on Hustler, unbeknownst to Ryan and Nick,
or
beknownst to them.
I would say the first thing I said is I would not be surprised if this involved many people and a big thing.
I read a tweet yesterday that I
an
found,
ongoing criminal enterprise.
Yes, exactly.
It's a RICO case. I read a tweet yesterday that made me both pause and chuckle pretty hard. It was some woman tweeted. She goes, "I taught my kids about Santa Claus today, and I also taught them about Occam's razor at the same time." And she goes, "What do you think's more likely, that Santa exists, or that billions of people across the globe have conspired to lie to children about this figurative character that shows up on Christmas to give you presents?" And when you think about it like that,
that's true.
A lot of conspiracy theories start to make a lot more sense. It's like, we always dismiss stuff because it's like, you know how many people would have had to have been in on the moon landing?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I do. And you know what? They're all fucking in on Santa Claus too.
You ain't wrong, man. You ain't wrong.
That's funny.
So it's like, yeah, I mean, I truly don't know. And part of me doesn't care. Nope. I really don't. Like, I actually, here's the thing. Like, everybody immediately gravitated towards, okay, Mars is a cheat. How deep does this go? Yada, yada, yada. And that very well may be true.
Maybe.
But I don't think Nick tweeting it and Wesley corroborating it makes anything factual. I think we all latched on to Rena's posts because she had some receipts from a year ago where she had already claimed this, and I do think that that's very valid. I think that they should be heard, and I think that this probably further corroborates it. Also, the fact that Mars is staying pretty silent, kind of speaks volume. But at the same token, it's like we just have two losing players coming out saying that they are getting cheated in private LA games.
At least you beat Nick publicly.
Like, like, what are we talking about here? Water's wet, the sky is blue, and LA home games are cheated. Like, maybe you just stink. I don't know. Like, I'm just not giving this that much credit, because the fact of the matter is, in the high stakes community, behind the scenes, what none of the public gets to see, what usually happens in this case, where you don't have somebody come to Twitter, is that it gets handled internally. Right?
It was Yeshen, aka Tony, aka Mars.
No, wait. What's the last one he called him? The Scorpion Devil, or fuck?
Oh, I don't know. That was in something else. That was Wesley's tweet.
Wesley's tweet. What did he call him? I gotta go find it out.
Scorpion poison or something like that. Yeah, Wesley. In the same breath, Wesley calls himself the greatest no limit hold'em player of all time, and the man who's responsible for the scorpion poison or whatever.
The best part about him claiming that he was the best player of all time, he used like the fact that he
lost the biggest pot of all time.
That he lost the biggest pots of all time.
Yeah.
Like, wait, that doesn't correspond.
I mean, this is the only biggest pot that we've seen publicly.
Yeah,
a lot of people that probably aren't that great at poker by default would be the best poker players of all time.
Yeah. Shout out to Roger Sipple.
Didn't he retire you once?
He did. Everybody's retired me once. I'm fucking back though, baby. I got that resilience in me, you know?
You're like Batman when he goes into the cave.
That's right.
The little
9
dungeon.
lives.
I'm not the hero that they need. No, I'm not the hero they want. I'm the hero that they need. So I guess like let's get all of your takes before I kind of give my perspective on all this. Where are you guys at with the public cheating, outing, scandal, millions of dollars being thrust out of the hands of LA poker?
These stories, they don't I feel like they don't come out of thin air, right? Like you said, there is some truth. I'm sure everything we heard over the past 24 hours, there's a lot that's not true and there's a lot that is true. And it's just going to take time to dig through everything and see if more evidence or more people come out and then we can get to the actual truth. But right now, I think we're kind of just like speculating. Right, exactly, at certain things. And, we'll see. Time will tell.
I feel like this happens every other week, man.
Not from a friend.
Not from a friend, but from an
A
enemy.
close friend.
Maybe an only friend.
Wow.
When we were trying to figure out
Maybe we'd be rich then.
when we were trying to figure out who he was talking about, I listed like a dozen people in the chat and I put quotes in front of all of them because Airball somehow has managed to have one good friend in the world, which is Ishan. Like, no one should question their friendship.
I mean, there's close friends and then there's secret meeting friends.
Yeah. I've seen the two of them interact. They care about each other. They look out for one another. Everybody else that Airball surrounds himself with is effectively what you see happen when a whale will let his friends play with him. Like, everyone else that gives Airball the time of day does it because they want to play cards with him. It's literally just whale courting. It's like, who could it possibly be? It's like, I don't know, Charles or the professor or Lynn.
God, Burke, you run so good. You got to play one-on-one with him, and you didn't even have to pretend to be his friend.
I know, it was amazing.
Instead of courting him, he just called you a scammer.
Yeah.
He just got mad at you for something.
Yeah, except now all these millions that he's dusting off, I don't get any piece of.
Nope.
He might come back to you since every other game is cheated.
I'm legit.
Yeah, at least you're real, baby. At least you're real.
That's right. Keep it real in these
I
streets.
stink in real time.
You've navigated the underground world a bit as a dealer. What's your experience with all of this?
Man, it's a sick feeling because like there's so many people in poker that will do anything to get to the next level and like do anything to like just for that extra dollar.
Right.
And when you're in a spot like LA, it's like it feels like there's so much greed and fakeness and just like why would you ever want to play in a home game there? I don't like I understand it, but I don't. If I was there, I would also be playing in these home games.
Here's the
that's the thing. So it's kind of weird, but it's like, damn, you just got to keep your head on a swivel 24/7.
It's like the risk reward kind of thing. Like, oh, they're so juicy, but they're probably cheated. Yeah. It's like you have to weigh both of them and decide whether you want to play. Apps are just home games
at scale, right? Like apps are home games minus the violence and increasing the probability of how you're being cheated. Like, you have to be creative to cheat a home game. Yeah. But apps, you don't have to be all that creative. You can just like collude with people and like, whatever. Go ahead, Landon. You have that look on your face.
I have. Well.
All right, I'm going to cut Landon off. I have a soft spot for Santosh, and I feel like, and I hope that game he got dragged away
it's
from
cheated.
that HCL, that it was cheated.
Was cheated
so,
game, bro.
Santosh, let us know if you lost a bunch of money, buddy.
We'll be just fine.
I don't know that that's indicative, but it's.
You know what I was thinking?
Go ahead.
There's a chance Shantos is the one that found this out. Like, he's just like the new guy to the game. He gets brought to the game, and he's like, what the fuck is going on here? And he's like,
I mean, possibly. I actually don't think that was a Mars game that he got taken away from.
Maybe not.
I don't know all the details, but I've heard grumblings of like, where they were going to play and everything else. I don't think it was a Mars game.
Gotcha.
Man, it is weird in the sense of knowing that like the cheated game type stuff, and sure, like you can win a bunch of money and lose a bunch of money, and then the whole close friend, whatever. But there's obviously this risk that happens that like this isn't out of the ordinary. It's not the first time it's going to happen. It's not the last time it's going to happen when you're playing for high stakes in unprotected environments.
Just a normal Tuesday.
Look,
like
here's the thing.
This stuff's going to happen all the time.
Game runners, app runners, everything in between, they see professionals as the mark. It's not even remotely close, right? They see the whales as fuel to keeping the game going, and they see pros as the marks. They recognize that the professional is blinded by his arrogance of
I can still win in this game.
What he believes his win rate to be in a soft spot, in spite of all of the hurdles that are stacked up against him. The high rake, the potential to being cheated, the probability of not getting paid out. And at the end of the day, all of those are kind of fail-safes for the host. I could always cheat him. I could always collude against him. I could always not pay him.
Right, the pro always cope.
I could always reduce his rake back or increase the rake. There's always ways that the host or game runner will come out ahead. And the person who always is going to have it fall back on them is the pro.
Yeah.
You're always taking the worst of it here. I've been very, very lucky in my career to be given good games and trusted games to play in, both in the casino and a handful that are outside of it.
Part of that's your own doing, though, because I'm sure you got invited to play some games that are
I've
probably
passed
suspect.
on so many cheated games.
Right.
So many fucking cheated games.
I mean, the one that you played, I guess, the Chad talk about?
Yeah, so Chad's game was for sure cheated. It's just, I don't know if it was being cheated when I was there. I think basically the way that I understand it is there was a guy in Chad's game that I don't think Chad had anything to do with as the host who was cheating the game. One of the reasons why I got, now this is a little bit sus now that I look back in hindsight, but one of the reasons I got asked to come play the game was they wanted somebody who was familiar with security to kind of like come through, look over their whole setup and kind of be an extra set of eyes in the game to make sure that things were on the up and up. I quickly realized as I was in the game that like they didn't really give a shit about all that at the end of the day. It was just kind of cope. But I didn't really get the sense. There was one set, the very first session I played, I actually played it with the guy who was accused of cheating in that game, and I did feel like I was being cheated. But then I played multiple sessions thereafter where he was no longer there, and the game felt like it was on the up and up.
One with me even in the box.
Correct. Yeah, they even let me bring my own dealer.
And he lost.
I did. But
he's got to pay the tab back somehow.
But
Conrad got you.
I was a
Who'd
big
you put that money with?
I was a big winner in the game overall, which partly lends me to believe that it wasn't cheated. However, I do believe it was not on the up and up. So I think that there's a difference, right? Like the cheating that was being accused of happening in that game was that a guy was coming in and either he had some sort of mechanic in the box or he had some ability to get a deck read, like whether it was, you know, one of the, like whether he got a foul deck into play or something allowed him to gain an edge because he was a terrible wreck. He was a gangster from the East Coast and he just won infinite. So it's like pretty probable that he found a way to mechanic the game in his favor, but it didn't seem like it was orchestrated through the host. Now, after him, and Chad is like notorious for this, the game was not on the up and up in the sense that Chad was bankrolling the entire fucking game. So it was like me and a couple other guys that I'm friends with versus like 6 or 7 house players that are all chopping us up. But they suck. You know, it was like Cantu and Lynn and, you know, the biggest fucking whales in the world. Where it's like they can share cards and I don't think any of us would care.
Damn, Burke.
So it's just like, you know, that's where
Q and pro arrogance, right?
Well, yeah, I was about to say that's. I mean, you took my joke, but like that's where you're towing a fine line between being arrogant and being realistic.
Mm-hmm.
If the biggest hurdle that you're up against is that the players in the game that you're playing against are soft playing one another, that's beatable.
Yeah.
Right. Like, but if the biggest hurdle that you're up against is that they are collectively card sharing or signaling or, you know, cheating in a more sophisticated way, that's probably not going to be beatable over the long run.
It's hard to beat people when you go multi on the river and it goes like bet, call, raise, things along those lines.
It's kind of not though. Like imagine if you just knew ahead of time. Don't get me wrong, it creates a leveling war. Right?
Right, but you can find a way to win, sure.
Yeah, you just know hand
cheating.
strength. Yeah, you just know hand strength and you know the probability of like, it's just shitty whenever it's like nuts for a second. Like, for instance, I played a bomb pot there where I flopped 10s full on 10. I flopped 10s full on 10-3-3 flush draw board. And Chad check raised me on the flop. And my spidey senses just like went the fuck off because he plays so goddamn tight and we were super deep. We were like 100K effective playing 1-1. So it's just like, okay, game runner who's the only person at the table that covers me, super deep, check raises me in a bomb pot once we're already heads up. Like, check to me, I bet, folded to him, he closed the action. Chooses to check raise me, plays ridiculously tight. None of this really makes a ton of sense. Screams a 3 or nothing. Call. Turn is like the 4 of hearts. He bets, I call. and then the river is like an offsuit 9. And I can't remember if he check jammed and I folded or if he bet and I just called. But whatever it was, I had the option to commit the rest of my stack and chose not to. I ended up losing like 15 or 20K in the hand, where I could have easily, got in 100. I had the straight second nuts. And I just remember whenever I tabled my hand, he goes, "What the fuck? At least tell me you think I'm cheating," because he had quad 3s. And it's like,
well, I think you're cheating.
I think you're cheating.
That's what this fold is.
Right. It's like, yeah, of course, I think you're cheating. Like, maybe you weren't, but I had to play the game differently, effectively, is what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Because there was that underlying aspect that he could just bring mechanics in. I mean, he was dating the dealer.
He probably bet and you called, and then he tabled, and then you tabled second.
Yes. Whatever it was just like I tabled my hand in a way where there was a lot of money behind. And I chose not to go broke in a spot where, like, in a casino, if my money doesn't all go in here, I'm the worst player in the world.
Retire.
Right, yeah, it's like, it's just over.
That just sounds like a standard hand at the Jewel. I don't know.
Right, I get it. Lamanna just opened Muck's River. Fuck it, man, you got it. I missed my quad draw.
Yeah, I mean, how can you commit your entire stack with 10s there when pocket 3s is out there? Especially if it's in March and it's the hot card.
Right. Right.
The Ides of March.
It is very important to know what the hot card is. So yeah, anyway, getting back to underground games and like what does all this mean? I hate to dampen this story because, like, we're supposed to just really light the flame and turn this into a 24-hour Joey investigation and everything else, but it's like, I don't know what to tell you guys. Like, this is just kind of nothing, to be quite honest. Like, effectively what's happening is Airball and Wesley are coming out. They're saying that they were losers in these games that Mars ran, and they're accusing him of cheating. They think they have the methodology for how that cheated, and they said they're going to go public with those details pretty soon.
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. We're going to keep you abreast of all that stuff. But here's what I can guarantee you. They're not getting the money back. You're not going to hear from Mars anytime soon, for sure.
What? He doesn't have too many places to go. He's already been in the basement in New York. He's been ran out of China. My man's running out of options.
I mean, this is all alleged.
There's Montana as well.
And the fact of the matter is, for better or for worse, like, people play poker with Chinese whales. It's like this guy just gets to reinvent himself over and over and over again. He can lose a little bit of weight.
Different nickname.
Yeah, come up with a different nickname.
Jupiter?
Whatever.
I'm gonna go with Uranus.
Yeah, whatever. So yeah, you're not going to see any refunds taking place, which is why I'm sure that they decided to go public, because the notion of them getting any money back is gone at this point. You're almost certain to not hear anything from Mars. And yeah, LA home games are cheated, man. So are Vegas home games most of the time.
So are most home games.
Like, if you're a professional poker player and you're getting invited to a home game, don't go. That's the best advice I can give you.
Yeah.
Just don't go.
Live life on the edge a little.
There was there's been many games that have been vouched for by people that I wholeheartedly trust that did not play in the game, and the game was cheated.
Yeah.
Right. So it's just like, you don't know what the impetus is behind somebody vouching for a game. There was a game with Chauncey Billups and a bunch of basketball players that was for sure cheated. A very well-respected professional, she had vouched for this game, swore up and down this game was legit, but was recruiting dozens of pros. John Sin got invited, Marley got invited, Ralph Wong got invited, I got invited. All of these people, just dozens and dozens and dozens of professionals. And it was like, yeah, I'm not going to fucking go. Like, I'm literally not going to go. If I wanted, first of all, if I wanted to play with them, I'd just go to the Bellagio.
Yeah.
But secondly, why are they all getting invited? This doesn't make any sense. The game is definitely not on the up and up. Like, 4 NBA stars do not want to play with 6 of us.
Right.
If they did, they would just go to the Bellagio. It doesn't make sense. Like, they're not going to take the effort to rent a mansion in the hills of LA, or like, this game ran probably a half dozen times. I think 3 or 4 times in LA, 2 or 3 times in Vegas. I remember a couple of the guys, like, They got blitz day 1. They go, I think the game's probably cheated, but it's so soft I'm going to go back for day 2 just to clarify that it's definitely cheated. Then they lose $250,000 and they're like, okay, it's definitely cheated. And here's the biggest problem with being the professional who this shit always rolls downhill on is in order to protect your reputation, in order to protect the fact that you want invites in the future with these people, whether it's in a private game or not, you pay immediately, always.
And you say not a goddamn word.
Always.
Never.
You just take it on the chin.
Yep.
Like, I got cheated in an app game for $100K 4 or 5 years ago. I paid instantly. I mean, if I had known I was being cheated at that very moment, maybe I would have had a little bit of leverage to not pay, to negotiate down a little bit.
The problem is the seed of the doubt.
Right. Well, that's the thing, right? Like, you're losing $15K at a time. Mm-hmm. You're shipping $15K at a time, right? Or in this instance of like the home games, like you're expected to settle right after.
Yeah.
But when you win, you don't get settled up.
Weeks later.
Months.
Hold on,
sometimes never.
Billy Bob's got to pay.
Like, that's the thing. That's the thing. There's these accusations of how Mars cheated this game and that, like, you know, he didn't even have to do all that. If he was going to torture, the only reason to do all that is because it would go undetected. If you're going to torture rep anyway, you just never fucking pay.
Yeah,
like,
just take all
Airball and Wesley could just be coming out saying, like, yeah, I got cheated out of $1 million in this home game. Like, what happened? It's like, oh, Mars made off with the money and he never paid me. It's like, yeah, no shit. Like, these are the risks that you have in these home games, and it's very silly to think otherwise. We kind of buried this when it happened over the summer, but there was a game in, I believe, Beverly Hills.
Hollywood Hills, sorry. Where,
and now granted, this was an inside thing. It wasn't a random act of violence. It wasn't the game being robbed. Like, there was definitely some politics involved in this, at least from my understanding. But a guy just got shot in the face.
Yeah.
Opening the door of an LA home game. Dead. Just dead. And the lead actor from Pitch Perfect watched the whole fucking thing. Mm-hmm. He literally witnessed it from his balcony.
Yeah.
Just sitting out there, hanging out. He knows that there's this high-stakes home game that happens across the street. Wants to see the people who go in and out, like, what's going on. And then the next thing you know, knock, 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 dead.
Jeez.
The fuck?
Yeah. Skylar Aston?
Home. Is what?
Is that the person you're talking about? Skylar Aston?
Maybe. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know how better to describe him other than the lead actor from Pitch Perfect.
Okay, I guess he is. He's the first person up there.
Anna Kendrick's on there too, I think.
Oh, yes, she is, my friend.
I know she is.
Yes.
Anna Kendrick.
No, that's not who it was. It's Adam Devine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it says Adam Devine and his wife Chloe Bridges describe what happened. This is important on the This Is Important podcast. So there's an episode out there describing it. But yeah, I mean, I hate to downplay this. In my world, this is much ado about nothing. Like, it's just shouting from the rooftops things that everybody fucking already knows.
Yeah.
To accomplish absolutely nothing.
Yeah, it's like you're not shocked at all about this. It's just
the snowboard instructor was a cheater. Clutch my pearls.
Hey guys, they hurt me.
I've never seen this one coming.
Man. This happens so much.
I'm actually.
You don't even know how much it happens. That's the funny part.
That's the point, right? Like, the only things you see are the things that get tweeted.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like.
Oh, this is so common. This is a half a dozen times a year.
This is even more than that, man. This isn't something that people talk about.
I'm saying that it gets uncovered.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah. No, of course people are doing this at scale. Like, look, I'm actually getting to the point, and I know this is a crazy thing to say, but I'm getting to the point where I have some sense of empathy for guys like Airball and Wesley, because they dove in headfirst into the poker community, or into the poker world, the high stakes privatized world. They dove in headfirst with zero experience prior into the highest stakes, into the shadiest realms.
I agree with that.
And it's like, you just have no idea how dirty of a pool you're actually swimming in.
Mm-hmm. And that shit is black.
It's like Airball has 24 people that he considers to be good friends. And from an outsider's perspective, I was like, you have one friend, bro. Mm-hmm. Like, Ishan is your only friend. If you think anyone other than Ishan is your friend, I'm a better friend to Airball than the next 20 people after Ishan. Like, right now, in his world, it's Ishan, me, and then everybody else that he thinks is a friend.
You and Ishan might be pretty close too, you know?
Yeah. Even he thinks Santosh is his friend. Even Santosh is whale hunting him.
Look, like Ishan is like his cheerleader, and you're like the realist that he needs, right? Like, Ishan's always going to be there for him, but you're like, look, man,
Gotta tell him how it is.
I'm the guy. Yeah.
I don't like you, but I respect you.
No, I don't respect him either. I don't like him. I don't respect him, but I feel bad for him.
Airball's gonna text you later. He's like, "Hey, man, can we go out to dinner sometime?"
No.
He'll send you a gift basket.
Some friend you are.
Well, that's Berkey being a friend, honestly. When was the last time he said yes to dinner with us?
That's actually pretty true. I would go to a group dinner with you guys. But
Echo and Rig only.
I mean, like, look, and this brings up the question. I know we memed on it a little bit, but like, this does bring up the question of what happens to HCL now. Like, it's no secret that I constantly compliment Ryan for his ability to put lineups together and do what he does at HCL. However, that does come with the level of criticism where HCL doesn't KYC anybody, and it's not even like they just take floor traffic. So, like, look.
Can you explain what KYC is?
Know your customer.
Yeah.
So, like, look, I play with a bunch of people that I'm sure have CD Pass and all kinds of shit in public games or semi-public games, right? Bellagio, Aria, Wynn, whatever. I'm sure that there are a lot of guys that you wouldn't want to fuck with that come in with dirty money and lose, right? But they are pretty hamstrung on how much they can impact anything outside of that room, right? In Hustler Casino Live situation, Ryan is like actively recruiting the bottom of the barrel from these LA home games, right? Like over the think about where we have come in the last 15 months. Just look at Airball's timeline in the last 12 months. Went from the drunk who got
saying inappropriate things,
a band saying inappropriate things to Ling Ling, to the guy who couldn't get on Friday games because he was too good, to the guy who stood up for the brand of HCL and was going to slay the dragon that was talking shit on them.
Wow, you're the dragon?
To lying about
the dragon one.
To lying about where he gets his funds, lying about selling pieces, burying the whole HCL family for 40% of his action in the $1 million cash game. Or, sorry, the $1 million heads up game. Who knows about everything else? Going on a $5, $6, $7 million downswing.
But shit, it might be like 9 or 10 now.
Maybe more. Having a falling out with Wesley, having a falling out with Blank Check, having a falling out with Ryan, having a falling out with basically Lynn and everybody else that comes in contact, right? Now to outing Mars. That's all in 12 fucking months.
He's speed running the high stakes environment.
Right? It's a busy year.
2 years ago, 2 Octobers ago, HCL launched its first high stakes game. It was me, Durr, Ivy, Garrett, Krish, Lucky, and a couple of others. And Lucky was the closest thing to a shady character in that particular instance. Since then, they've devolved into building games around whales, such as Mars, cheated, gone. Blank Check, out of the community. He's no longer with us. Airball.
He passed away.
He's passed away. Airball, who's running out of funds and has nothing but a litany of drama following him.
It really does.
Who else were some of like the big time players like during the end of the Garrett era?
Andy.
Well, Andy's still there, but I'm saying like the whales. Krish is gone. A lot of speculation as to why.
Tiger's gone.
Where
Tiger at?
Where Tiger at? What do we call him? The fake situation.
Pepe.
Yeah. Pepe. They had their
he's
problems with Pepe.
But he's back.
He's back. And he's playing tighter than ever.
Vitucci says, he doesn't want to say what he does.
Right. Not anymore. But yeah, it's like, they're running out of people to build the game around. Like, you don't see Bill Klein going there anymore. At some point, you just wash your hands of it. Mm-hmm. Right? Like, it became this sort of cesspool of easy money, but dirty money nonetheless. And at some point, it's like, okay, well, you lost your action hero in Garrett. You haven't found anybody to fill those shoes. And the pool of wealthy individuals that want to play on TV and just donate money to a bunch of C or D tier pros is expiring.
I'd like to think that we have something to do with Bill Klein not showing up anymore.
I don't know if that's true or not.
My man watches the podcast sometimes.
Shout out to Bill Klein.
My man.
Let's
I like
go.
Bill Klein.
He's dope.
So my question then becomes, where does like how can Hustler continue to grow, right? Or are we watching the demise? Is this the downward decline that's just naturally going to happen when you rise so fast, right? We saw a very public dispute between Andy and Bertucci that very quickly got quieted. Mm-hmm. And, Andy kind of walked it back, said there was no pressure from the higher ups, but I'd like to apologize. I was heated in the moment, stuck 500,000. When I learned about why the game broke down, I have to accept these risks, et cetera, et cetera. Which, look, everything he's saying here is very true, but it's also very reminiscent of appeasing the person who cuts your checks.
I see what you think, Burke.
I mean, come on. Like Nick tries to say that they didn't have any communication, but the first thing he did was take to Twitter and say, it's pretty stupid of you to go into a public chat with 16,000 people and bite the hand that feeds you. Mm-hmm. And it's like, okay, well, I don't care if you had any communication beyond that. That's communication. That's very clearly sending a message to Andy saying, like, if you still want this honeypot, you better fucking do as you're expected to and rep the fucking brand because we're a family here. And you don't cross the family and get away with it, And I'm saying all this tongue in cheek because, like, I think that whole charade over there is just a total clown show. But I'm being genuine in the sense of I can't fathom how, and this is coming from the perspective of like being in an industry like poker training that is continually shrinking and continually getting more and more saturated and getting pushed out by tools and things of that nature. It's like at some point, your star dies. And it's like if we watch the trajectory of S4Y over the better part of 7 years, it's like there was a rise, and it's really hard not to think that we're on the backside of training in this industry.
A star is born versus a star is dying.
No, that wasn't a good one.
I liked it.
I like the effort, though.
He tried, man.
I liked it, man.
That's all that matters.
Don't do this to me.
Don't you
Not
take
now.
this from me.
Don't do this.
He has a bat for a reason, He's just waiting for you to slip up, man.
It's my bat.
And he's about to fucking smack you with it if you act up again.
It's my bat.
Imagine getting your ass beat by someone with your own bat.
That's fucked up.
It'd be like getting your ass beat by someone with your own hand. Keep strengthening that hand over there, Conrad.
He's been at it the whole
all
podcast.
day.
I'm gonna use it against you.
What's the line, Conrad?
Oh,
I was trying to say this in the first 5 minutes. I kept getting stomped on.
I didn't hear what you were saying.
I was saying, what's the line?
I know, I couldn't hear you.
Well, what's the line?
All right, well, out there for my faithful that are watching, because they update it on Twitter every week. Picking with the broken ankle, a little high sprain on the ankle, a little JJ Watt out, like a whole bunch of
JJ's retired.
Or TJ Watt out, a whole bunch of
All of them
linebackers
are
out.
gone.
I'm gonna say we have moved toward even money.
Oh, man,
Okay, that I'll bet.
Ooh, baby.
You'll bet another slap on that?
I would bet no slap at even money for sure.
We're moving toward even money, and if they lose against the Patriots, oh baby, I'm minus 450.
You're a huge favorite if they lose against the Patriots.
Minus 450 if they lose against the
I do
Patriots.
not think it's an even money bet right now.
Is that next week or?
It's
Thursday.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
their whole well, the thing is, your whole team is hurt right now. I don't want to spend too much time on this, but your whole team is hurt, and you only have 3 more days.
Bro, you can rationalize it however you want. They're going to be a touchdown favorite against the Patriots, even with Trubisky in there.
Oh, we'll find out right now.
I mean, you have to
But
score
go
a
on.
touchdown to be a touchdown favorite.
Amen. Go on
Okay?
anyway.
I mean, I don't know what to tell you. That they're going to be heavy favorites at home versus the Patriots, and they're probably going to be heavy favorites.
I think that line's already out. Let's find out.
It is.
Heavy favorites against the Bengals.
Mm-hmm. I'm betting the under, whatever the fuck it is. I don't care if it's 22.
Yep, 6 points. It started at 6.5 and it has moved down to 6 now.
Steelers minus 6. The over/under is 30.5. I don't know. I can't remember the last time I seen an over/under that though in an NFL game.
Too good.
But I'm taking the under.
Lower.
Well, that's great. I don't even know how we're talking about this.
How did we get
now.
there? How did we find this?
We
We always circle back.
You act like this was a we decision.
It was a Landon thing.
All right, we have. I guess that's it for the cheating.
Not much else.
We have Game of Gold wrap today, the penultimate episode, if you will. It's going to conclude now on Friday. So it looks like Wednesday's episode is not happening, and I wonder if there's something behind that. Like they made a tweet a couple days ago, I think, that said, be sure to stay tuned for all of your favorite Game of Gold cast members to join up in the Bahamas again. So I wonder if they have something planned potentially in a live stream for Wednesday. But Lamanna nailed it. The finale is going to be 2 hours long, and it's as predictable as we expected it to be. It's a 6-handed sit and go, just as we had kind of been teasing for a long time. Everybody comes in. It's 2 hours still doesn't even seem like enough. It's pretty deep. The shortest stack is kind of with 89 blinds.
81.
Or 81 blinds.
Right.
And Maria has I think just shy of 300.
Yeah, 280.
290 maybe, something like that.
Yeah.
So a lot of...
Yo has over 2. He has like 260 or something like that too.
Yeah, Maria comes in as chip leader. Yo is second. I believe...
Josh is third.
Josh is third. Fedor fourth. Jungle fifth. And then kind of last.
Sixth, correct.
It's interesting. We're going to get a winner. I really appreciated what they did with this episode. I can't believe...
I loved it, man.
I can't believe... I wonder how many of them have seen Squid Game. Because...
None of them, because... Well, Charlie definitely didn't.
Right. Dude, that was so good. I was so happy.
I knew that's what they were going to... Well, it was titled Squid Game, right?
Well, even without that, it's just very obvious they're playing down to 3 people.
Right, exactly.
So when they say pair up,
you know that
it's never a team competition.
Yeah, you're always against the person you pair up with.
Y'all ain't friends.
It's never going to be a team competition.
That was so good. Jungle, you want to be my partner? See you later, Charlie.
Yeah, you picked the toughest guy.
This fucking guy was like, "Oh, I'm gonna get an edge here. I'm gonna pick Jungle."
I thought they both actually played really well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me too.
Just having brain solved a little bit of Blind Man's Bluff in the 15 or 20 minutes I was watching the episode, but I actually thought that they both played incredibly well. I thought that kind of really summed up what the expectation of her and David's match was, which was a lot of impulse. Mm-hmm. And it did seem like that was what kind of went into that match. You build your strategy basically around what do you do when you see an ace, and what do you expect your opponent to do when they see an ace, because there's such a high return on getting them to fold the ace. Yeah. So the return was they lose half their stack to you.
Amazing.
You get excited when you see your opponent with an ace, because you're like, oh fuck, I hope I don't have a deuce or a 30. Right. Because I'm going for it here.
If you just have a big card, you're just gonna win.
Yeah. Anything above a 7, you just kind of win automatically.
I wonder who Charlie would have chosen had he known that it was going to be a 1v1 game of Blind Man's Bluff.
The person he gets the best live reads on.
Right. That's what I'm wondering. Who do you think that is?
I mean, I would assume kinda.
From
his mind, the way he went to jungle first, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like he went to jungle because he thought he was the best.
Yeah. That's fair. Yeah, probably. Kinda or David.
I mean, I wouldn't want to play a live read game with David.
I think you do. I think you want to play impulsive people when it comes to live reads.
Maybe.
Right? Because the calculated people tend to give less off.
Yeah, because kinda jammed with the jack, and then David called with the deuce, thinking that it looked like he had an ace and was going to fold it.
Yeah. That was pretty wild.
4-bet pile.
Right, wild. Yeah, he leveled himself big time there.
I wouldn't pick Yo because I just wouldn't want to stare at the open mouth.
So it's funny because he didn't really do that. He was a lot more relaxed.
He had the open mouth going
a little bit, but it wasn't like a serious. It wasn't like how he played heads up.
But Yo's smart too. He and I think he's another guy who could figure out the game probably pretty quickly.
Yeah. I think
he figured out how to cool off Andy.
Well, he didn't have to figure out the game with the cards he was dealt, but yeah.
Yeah, that was really unlucky. So the biggest cooler spot that could happen in this game is you see an ace on your opponent's forehead and you also have an ace on yours. And you're first to act.
Right.
You just get to jam.
Yeah.
And there's nothing that they can do.
Right.
Like they can't call it a chop really. They're just forced into folding.
Well, it would go raise then jam.
No. That would be a huge mistake.
Yes. Right. Now you're letting the other guy win.
Right. You have to open pile.
I thought his hand went raise then jam.
No, open jam.
Open jammed.
But it wasn't like when other people had it. You don't just always jam when someone has an ace, because that's not what happened. That's not what Charlie did. He bet big, but like Charlie, like you could see, it was a game to polarization, right? You wanted to polarize as quickly as possible.
How quickly you get to all in matters based off of stack depth.
Yeah,
for the Andy Yo one, he had him 2-1.
Okay, then you just open jam,
right?
For sure.
Yeah, it's an interesting strategy. Seems like a really fun game. They should play more of these games. They should play more of these games than actual poker.
Yeah, if I thought this episode was indicative of what the whole show could have been. Now I recognize that had they made the whole show this,
it wouldn't be good.
It would have been great. Not just Blind Man's Bluff,
like a bit of Uno.
a bunch of mini games. If they made the whole show that, though, it would be you would have to do single eliminations instead of team eliminations, right? Because like each episode would just be a mass exodus.
It was pretty funny how we're like, how are they going to get rid of all these people? And then just bang, 1, 2, 3, gone.
They cut down the first episode. I mean, the last match to 5 minutes. Nikita and
Andy.
It was
not even. It was only one hand.
Yeah, it was like less than 5 minutes.
It was a standard hand, but yeah, it was one hand.
Yeah. That was really unlucky. I was sad to see Nikita's team go.
Yeah.
I would have rooted pretty heavily for them. It would have been fun to watch Olga in Blind Man's Bluff, I think. She's so she's so in the meta where, like she's blowing kisses at Charlie and like, just kind of like getting into the leveling war. I think it would have been fun to see her navigate that environment.
Yeah.
I agree.
Really unlucky, obviously. Like, I don't know why they were making such a big deal about Nikita limping the ace-2 suited.
It's just it was ace-2 off, and it's very standard.
Yeah,
very standard limp jam, 25
jam,
blinds.
Right?
Yeah, very standard limp jam.
Very
good. I wish I did that.
I think like a lot of people like in the moment too. It seemed like
just not knowing
like
heads
a
up
big
strategy.
shove, like a big shove.
It's just not knowing heads up strategy.
Right,
It's that simple.
Yeah.
It's just a very good play.
But it was like Charlie that was critical of it, which was really surprising to me. I feel like he gets it.
I mean, he also jammed Jack 10 suited in the spot. Where
He had to read. That's different.
Sure. I'm saying it's just good strategy to limp jam ace-2. So
yeah, very different. Talk
to the machine. Talk to my dad.
I would like to see a lot more of these mini games. I would like to see eliminations kind of come at 1 by 1. I would like to see a vote of some sort. I think this game has a lot of legs. I'm very excited for it. I don't care about the finale. That's the unfortunate part. Now that they're down to the final 6 and they're playing a 6-handed sit and go.
I mean, I care. I think they've built up the drama and the characters enough I care to see who wins, which order they finish in.
I see what you're saying, though.
Right? Does kind of make a comeback being the short stack.
No, it's so boring knowing that they're going to get eliminated 1 by 1.
Listen, if Kaina or Maria get eliminated,
there might be a double knockout.
But what if there's got to be ways to make it cool, right? Maybe like use some coins to have some superpowers or whatever in an FT type of thing.
The problem is when you play a poker match, it's inevitable that it's 1 by 1 elimination.
It's just so slow.
That's just not what you want. Like, look at Survivor. They get down to the final 4 or 6,
final three, and then
whatever
it
is, right? And then it's just a choice.
How do we know that they're not going to throw a couple wrinkles in them?
What wrinkle can you throw into a sit and go?
Who
knows? I'll tell you how we know. I know how poker works.
What if they say they do it and then like all of a sudden they're like, oh yeah, at the end of every round we do 1 hand of Indian poker.
Do they let the leprechaun?
There could be a bunch of different things.
You can't play that game multi-way. It has to be a heads-up game, right?
Yeah.
You can't play 4-handed.
You can play it multi-way.
I don't think so.
It'd be hard.
Sure.
I mean, I'm sure
Who are you betting against?
You can make your own game up.
Betting against everybody else.
Okay, so now everybody calls. Like, I mean, yeah, I get what you're saying.
But I'm saying,
I guess it could be a multi-way game.
I'm saying I agree with you. It's probably just going to be your standard sit and go, and that's all it's going to be. But if they wanted to throw some wrinkles in, they could. And
what I know for a fact is that the final episode will be exactly 2 hours of poker. There can be nothing else.
Yeah.
There's no backroom deliberation.
Right.
There's no in-game strategy talk.
There's no teamwork.
Right. There's no teamwork. There's no strategy talk in-game. There's no confessional. There's no...
there'll be confessional.
There might be breaks
when they bust.
Yeah.
No, they might.
Or they might do that, what they did when Jason called DW with the King 8, and he said that he
all
didn't
those
have good
confessionals
hands
are
for
done
it,
after the show's
still.
over, anyways. Yeah. So it's like,
man. But this last episode was so good, and now the FT sit and go format.
It would have been better. It would have been better for them to save.
This for heads up or something.
No. For them to save the Blind Man's Bluff for the final.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
Like instead of doing like a 6-handed sit and go, like they get to 2 people left and then they play that to win.
Correct.
Oh, I would like that.
I think that would be way better.
You play a 466,000 match where like you can see if someone has an ace or not and you pile on them.
Yeah.
That's
like
fun. That's a lot of fucking fun.
Yeah.
I definitely.
what if they do that?
I have come to your.
What if they in the final 2? They're just switching it.
But it's done. It's done now. The allure's taken away. I've already watched an episode of Blind Man's Bluff. I don't want to see it again.
Yeah.
I have come to your side that other games are better for this show.
Yeah, I'd like to see them play a game of werewolves.
Wow.
Right?
That would be so fucking cool.
Yeah. So either one werewolf survives and wins the whole show, or X number of villagers that don't die survive. Now it would come back to your thing where like you have to be a surviving villager to advance.
Right.
They should have played some really code names. They should have played some werewolves.
Yeah, whatever, man. Get in there. I just want to see strategy games. I get it. Like you have to interweave poker.
Yeah.
It's a poker show.
You know what the thing is?
I just don't care.
The producers never played trains. If they've ever played trains, this show would be completely different.
Could you imagine that the final is just a game of trains, a game of Ticket to Ride?
That'd be so good, man. I love Ticket to Ride.
That'd be amazing.
Shout out Joel from Pittsburgh. His with a 199 super. We appreciate you, my guy. I mean, I wish I was looking more forward to the finale. I'm just not. It'll give us something to talk about on Monday, I guess, or I guess Friday. I don't even know.
Friday.
It still comes out at the same time. Oh, you know why I was delayed today?
Why?
In the editing process, they had already given Yo Andy's coins, and it was up. So that graphic that comes up,
it had
instead of it popping up with Yo having like 100 and some coins or whatever, it already had Andy's half of his coins ticked over to him. So anybody who'd watched got the spoiler that Andy had lost, and then they caught it, took it down, re-uploaded it.
Interesting.
Yeah,
that's why.
It's got to be the in-between of making poker still part of the show, but not the entire conduit of the game, the gameplay.
Yeah, I'm 100% with Berkey.
Like, this is the form of poker. There's other forms of poker.
I want to vote out at the end. Bring back the other 6.
Bring like people. What about like people's vote?
Whatever,
you
man.
get like Twitter
I don't care.
polls going. You get spaces.
Bro,
going.
I don't care what they do. Like, bring back the other 6. Have them
somebody returns.
Have them decide that like they didn't like the way that the game was played by X, Y, and Z. You know what I mean? Like, I don't like these socially engineered games where your decisions in the past aren't weighted towards the end, right? Where you're basically treating it stage by stage. So like you can just fuck people over in round 1 and it won't have any impact over round 2. Because that just leads to everybody defecting all throughout. And it's kind of just whatever.
Yeah, like an alliance doesn't really mean anything because you can't capitalize on being in an alliance.
I'm watching Squid Game, man. It's so good.
I'm caught up.
It's so good.
I can't wait for the finale.
I know, it's so good.
I think Friday?
Wednesday.
Wednesday?
Yeah.
This is the Netflix one?
Yeah, but there's this point where the entire collective comes up with an equitable strategy, and one person defects. And her defecting leads to her then getting voted to be outed later.
Yeah.
Now, she had strong enough alliances and allegiances that she ended up not getting voted off, but then that caused drama between her and the person who voted for her, where she's just like blatantly lying, saying like, "What do you mean? I followed the exact strategy," and then the other person saying like, "Clearly you didn't," kind of thing. I don't want to give too many spoilers, at least not without giving everybody a heads up first. But anyway, the whole point is that like that then carried through to future rounds. So her selfish decision in that moment may have saved her ass, but it was going to carry through to future decisions, right? That's important, I think, in a game show.
Butterfly effecty versus the one.
Right, you pick a path, and now you're aligned to that path, and you either need to figure out a really crafty way to lie your way out, or you need to navigate it.
Right.
You
have to navigate or dominate.
Right. Whereas in this one, it's like, okay, so maybe Fedor fucked over Maria and Josh in round 2 and like went first and gobbled all the coins or whatever, or maybe Charlie fucked over David and Andy in the elimination round by selfishly going first instead of last, that kind of thing. It doesn't matter. Once it's over, it just doesn't matter. Now they're playing a game of chance to advance to the finals, and the game just ends.
I see so many different, like, this can go on for such a long time too. Like, when it comes to the constructive criticism, even having this out in the first place and having the ability to look back and say, oh, we like this, we don't like this, we don't like this. And then getting different people on, different characters. You can make it not just be like poker people play Game of Gold, but like call it regular people or like celebrity people play Game of Gold. And then you don't need pros and you don't need people. You can just game select whoever you want to play a bunch of fun games.
Sorry, one thing. Charlie said I'll be back for season 2 of Game of Gold.
Yeah.
This motherfucker's not allowed back on unless he wears a shirt. He needs to wear it on the shirt. I don't care what anybody says.
I wonder if that's just him saying like I would like to play season 2, or if like there's already some crafting.
The editors chose to put that in, right? They could have cut that out.
It's also just like a good salute to the show. Like I enjoyed it so much, I would come back kind of thing.
Right? Yeah.
It does look like a lot of fun, man.
I mean, Charlie was really good.
I think. I love the show. I think this is fantastic. I love the final 6 that made it
he's
through.
in. He's
I
in.
told you I've been in.
It's good.
Episode 3.
After episode
2.
1, he said, "I don't like it," and now here we are.
I didn't like
episode 2.
1,
He was right in.
Episode 2. I was in, all in. Mm-hmm. I fucked with.
Maybe they can make Game of Gold LA private cash game with this.
Okay, so
the goal. Oh my God, how good would this be, bro? The goal is
the wheels are turning. The wheels are turning.
Because what happens is in episode 1, you know how they picked like the spades and okay, so you only get 2 suits this time, right? One suit is the players. The other suit is the hosts. And the host job is to rob the players of all of their funds. And the player's job is to win all of the funds of everybody because they don't know that there are hosts. They think everybody's a player, right? Oh my God, it would be so good.
This is like the masked poker player where everybody's jungle.
Yeah. Yes. This would be great. So like, you know,
basically
they give them all the tools. They give them the fucking file decks. They give them the.
But if they get caught, they lose.
Exactly. Yes.
There's like a grand prize, and like the host can split
like
it. The players.
Oh yeah.
It's like split or steal, but it's like team edition.
Exactly. Oh my God, this is so good, guys. You're welcome for the free advice.
Where do we get $1 million?
Mars.
Yeah. Shanghai needs Tony.
Shanghai needs Tony. He's gonna fund the whole thing. Yep.
Does that mean Nick's funding it?
Indirectly, yes. Indirectly. Shout out to Nik Airball.
We can put him in the
Wesley.
sponsorship title.
Wait, are you gonna put some money in too?
No. I've learned my lesson. I stay away from home games.
He's a visionary, bro.
I will watch though. I will watch very intently. All right, that's gonna do it for us. We ran a little bit over. Thank you guys so much for joining us. A lot of people here today. Thank you so much. 1,100 people. For anybody who is interested in the Academy, just a quick reminder, we are doing $500 off the admission price if you sign up before December 15th. Right. That is for 4 different academies in 2024. The next one will be January 15th through the 17th. We also have dates in March, May, as well as an MTT Academy in May right before the WSOP begins. That will be led by the one and only Matt Hunt. Don't forget, we will have a new episode of Poker Out Loud out tomorrow. You can find that at solve4y.io. Season 10. And finally, we have a Twitter prompt. If you want to head over to our Twitter at onlyfriends_pod, we have a prompt up, and it says... What is Berkey going on about now?
Home games are unbeatable.
Oh, so
you guys
good.
are real fucking funny.
I can't wait for these responses.
Yeah, I'm sure you can't. That's going to do it for us. We're going to have a new time beginning tomorrow now that the WBT festival is underway. Everybody's going to be playing. I'm almost positive that time is going to be 10 a.m. Pacific, but there is a small chance that we do the evenings instead. So stay tuned to the OnlyFriends Twitter. As we'll announce what time the show begins, but I'm almost positive it's going to be 10 a.m. moving forward beginning tomorrow. So thank you guys for rocking with us. We hope that you come back tomorrow. If you're new to the channel, please smash that like button, hit the subscribe bell, let us know that you're a fan, leave comments below in anything that you want to talk about, and we'll maybe get to it in tomorrow's episode. Till then, we'll see you guys later.
Later, squad.
Get well, Kenny.